Hey guys, Auspicious Aussie here, and welcome to episode 13 of the Arsenal series. As you can tell by today's title, we're going to be doing the Europa League first knockout round, and I want to win the Europa League. Not only is that sort of one of our club expectations, as you can see here, this season we need to at least make the final, and obviously, if we're making the final, I kind of want to be winning the final as well. So, with that said, our road to winning the Europa League starts right... Well, it's already started, but it starts right now in this first knockout round. Now, we do have Dynamo Zagreb. We're going to be doing a triple header today. Instead of doing the Liverpool and Fulham games, I decided to do both the first and second leg of this first knockout round. And then we're also going to take on Chelsea in the Premier League. Next episode's also going to be a pretty tasty one, where we have the EFL Cup final. And then, of course, we also take on Liverpool. So, and that Liverpool game is the FA Cup 5th round. So, I feel like both these episodes are going to be really good. Obviously, Zagreb, we're kind of expecting to beat them. Anyway, show you the league table first of all, because we've actually been on our best run of form, I would say, since the series began. As you can see, we find ourselves in 3rd place, and we're actually almost title challenging at the moment. We are 5 points behind Liverpool, who currently sit on 61 points at the top, and we are in 3rd on 56 points. So 5-point gap, and there's only 3 points between ourselves and 2nd place Man United. So a 3-point gap's really not that much, and 5 points to potentially be title challenging. That's a pretty good position to be in, especially in our 2nd season. And like I said, we're also in the EFL Cup, or the Carabao Cup as it's still being called in this game. You know, we're in the final, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, let's go over the recent fixtures, because we've got quite a few to go over. We've also got the transfers to go into as well. So the last episode was the 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace and the 4-0 victory against Newcastle. We followed that up with a 3-0 FA Cup 3rd round victory. Excuse me. And as you can see, Eddie Nketiah, Justin Kluivert, and Alex Telles on the score sheet for that one. We then went into the EFL Cup semi-final, first leg against Newcastle. As you can see, St. Maximin opened the scoring in the 9th minute there for Newcastle. And luckily for us, Ross Barkley scored his first goal of the season. It's only taken him, about 6 months? 5 months, something like that. And as you can see, Memphis Depay also getting himself on the score sheet. So we got a nice little 2-1 victory there, which I felt was pretty important. We then went back to Premier League action and absolutely destroyed Burnley 5-0. As you can see, Pepe with a hat-trick. Literally got 2 goals in the space of about, less than a minute. That was ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen that before either. Finished his hat-trick off with a penalty, and the other goal scorers were Depay and Nelson. We then managed to get a bit more redemption with a 1-0 victory over Tottenham away from home. Lacazette with the only goal of the game there. The next game, we could only manage a 0-0 draw against Manchester United. Xhaka getting sent off with a straight red card. But we did pretty well. Not to concede, especially away from home, and obviously to get a point against United. They're in 2nd place currently. They're also having a relatively good season. We then managed to beat Crystal Palace. Of course, we drew with them in the last episode, so getting a little bit of revenge. David Luiz off of a corner in the 19th minute, getting us 3 points there. We then went into the FA Cup 4th round against Charlton, and as you can see, we beat them relatively easily with a 3-0 victory. Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah getting himself 2 goals. We managed to pull off another impressive draw, this time against Liverpool, who are in 1st place and they really are the team to try and beat at the moment, obviously being at the top of the ladder. Yeah, another nice draw there. A few, disappointing performances. Depay with their 6.3 had a wealth of opportunity, but so did they, to be fair. So I think the draw was a relatively good outcome for at least for us. Obviously, they would probably want to beat us, being the home team. And finally, another big victory in the last game played, a 5-0 home victory with Lacazette with 2 goals, David Luiz with a goal and a penalty, and then finally Eddie Nketiah also on the score sheet. So they're the recent fixtures. Let's have a look at the transfers. Not a lot of activity. Bit of spoilers in there as well. What I did kind of do was go for regens. I wanted to sign quite a few regens. Just guys with a bit of potential. They're relatively cheap as well, so it wasn't too bad. We did sign one player who I felt was kind of a positional... We needed backup in a certain position, and I just felt like this certain player... I'll go into it now. It was Emerson, and we signed him from Chelsea. As you can see, he can play both fullback positions, and he's also a left-footed player that can also play right-back. So obviously he does fit the inverted wing-back role that we do play with on that right-hand side. I just felt like he was a good option, and as you can see, we signed him for just 11.25 mil. He was transfer listed. Only 26 years old. Wages are a little bit high for a sub, but at the same time, you know, he's good enough to be a backup, and that's exactly what we need. And, you know, I'm pretty happy to get him in. Good cover for both of those positions. Now, the rest of the players we'll get into here. So the first one was Tony Guerrero. He's not a regen. However, I decided to bring him in because he was so cheap. 1.2 mil. I think that was his release clause as well. Obviously, coming from Spain, they all pretty much have release clauses. And then we basically loaned him out to Huddersfield. And as you can see, I thought they were paying a fee. Maybe I was wrong about that. I think in the end, I just wanted to get him out on loan. So, yeah, he's over there with Huddersfield. Next player we brought in was Henrik Weber. Now, he looks relatively good, possibly with 4.5 star potential there. 16-year-old Danish centre-back. Really, really good mental attributes. And then the other thing that really stands out is the 15 passing. Obviously going to be very much suited to a ball-playing defender, as you can see here. Not exactly the best jumping reach or strength, but hopefully that'll be improved upon fairly soon. Of course, he's down in the under-23s, but I kind of expect him over the next maybe year or two to develop and possibly be a player that comes in for those FA Cup, EFL Cup games, just to get a bit of game time. The next player we signed in was Oddvar Bjerke, a 17-year-old Norwegian right winger. Not the best potential in the world, possibly 4-star, looking more like a 3-star potential player. Essentially just signed him because he was cheap, only 500k, and you know, he might develop into something. Good passing, good technique, and relatively good pace on him as well. So yeah, just one to see what happens. And again, we'll probably, you know, in 3 years' time, we'll probably be able to sell him on for a relatively large profit. The next guy we signed in is a player I'm very happy with, also a right winger, and that is Jose Garai, who could possibly be a 5-star potential player. As you can see, superb rating for the senior team, star player. 2.5-star current ability, really good crossing, dribbling, really good pace on him. And the mentals are also looking pretty good. And of course, we do play with a right winger there. He did get a work permit, which is really good. And obviously, he's going to be down in the under-23s. I think for him, because he's got such good potential, I want to keep him at the club and try and get him as homegrown. Normally, I would loan a player like this out. But at the same time, I feel like we don't even have a lot of options at the moment. Arsenal, we're kind of lacking, and I want to build up our under-23 team to be competitive and try and win the, you know, the cups and the leagues in that sort of competition, the reserve league. And, you know, anyone else that is left over that has, you know, similar to Bjerke here, he can be loaned out. I'm not too fussed about that. But a guy like Garai, I feel like he is going to be a first-team player possibly in the future. Now, he was signed from Nacional in Paraguay for 1.4 million, so also really cheap. And, you know, at the minimum, we'll be able to sell him on for a profit. Probably, I could see him going for about 40 million minimum in the future. We then signed the final player, which was a deal I had set up for quite some time, and that was Adrian Jacques from AS Monaco. Again, similar to Bjerke, 3-star potential, possibly a 4th star there. Gonna be, he's got a good rating for the first team. I signed him because he's obviously yes, we look at him and you think possibly an advanced playmaker. Good vision, passing technique, first touch, needs more work on dribbling, finishing, stuff like that. Long shots as well. But got good determination, and, he might be able to turn into something as well. Bit of a much higher fee compared to some of these other transfers. 3.7 million for him. But obviously, coming from Monaco, he is going to sort of expect a much higher pay. Now, the only player that actually left our club was, of course, Martinez. And guess where he went? He went to Zagreb. So, going to be an interesting one. He will, I think, be... I'm not sure if he'll be cup-tied for the Europa League. Hopefully he will be, because, he could potentially cause an upset. Possibly. Or we could, score, 4 or 5 goals against him. Could probably go either way. Anyway, let's get into the lineup for this first game. I think we're going to go with this team here. Pepe is going to get a little bit of a rest. I think we have had some time between games. So as you can see, a lot of players are lacking a little bit of match fitness. So actually, in saying that, I might want to bring Romero in for this game. I think we'll bring Pepe off the bench, I think, because I want to save him for the Chelsea game as well. And Tierney might play against Chelsea. We'll have to wait and see. Tellez has really improved again, back to sort of where he needs to be. Everything else looks pretty good though. So Leno in goals. We've got Bellerin at right back, Holding and Romero going to start at centre back today. We've got Tellez at left back, Aya as the defensive midfielder. We've got Rodriguez and James Rodriguez and Xhaka as our centre mids. We've got Depay on the left, Nelson on the right, and of course Lacazette up front. The bench is going to be Iliev, Luiz, Emerson, Guendouzi, Barkley, Pepe, and Nketiah. Alright, let's give him the number 33 for Emerson. Likes the number 3. Obviously, can't have the number 3, so we'll give him 33. I feel like that kind of works. Anyway, let's tell the boys to pick up where they left off, because the last game was a 5-0 victory. So we definitely want to continue with that. And, like I said, we've actually been in our best run of form. I didn't mention it in the fixture review, but we haven't lost a game in about maybe 12 games, I would say. Something about that. It's relatively in that ball game. And Memphis Depay getting a nice early goal for us here in the 6th minute of the game. I think it was Bellerin with the assist. Yeah, it was Bellerin. It's a good goal. I mean, fairly sweaty, fairly easy. We also got Aya heading the ball over the bar there. Don't get me wrong. I am expecting us to beat Dinamo Zagreb. They're a good Croatian team, but they're just not. They're not of that high level. And there we go. Memphis Depay with his 2nd goal of the game. Number 15 for his season tally. Looking pretty good. Like I said, he's a really good player, but he does kind of have spells where he'll, for 4 or 5 games where he won't do anything. A little bit inconsistent, but sometimes he just, he just bangs them in, and I don't know what I have to do to try and make sure that he's performing like that each and every game. Anyway, we've got Lacazette with a pretty disappointing shot there. Probably could have done a little bit better. Let's demand more from the boys as we sort of round off this first half. I mean, it's been a good first half, but I'm kind of hoping we can get a few more away goals and we can really maybe play some of our new regions that we bought. Possibly. Obviously, some of them are a little bit too young, but a guy like Garai, could really come in, the 18-year-old Paraguayan. And of course, we've also got Steve Wilson as well, who is also a right winger. So that's going to be an interesting one. We've also, signed Burke as well, who is also a right winger. So we've got 3 right wingers that are all relatively good. James with a header that goes just wide. Really unfortunate there. We've got another goal, this time from Xhaka, off of the set piece. It was a nice little free kick by James. I'm happy with that. Now, I do want to bring on Nketiah, and I think I want to bring on maybe Guendouzi. I'm not a massive fan of Guendouzi, if I'm being honest, but at the moment, Torreira, I think he sustained a broken ankle recently, so he's going to be out for quite some time. All right, let's make those subs. So Nketiah on. Let's bring Barkley on as well for James. And I guess we'll go with Pepe as well. Yeah, let's do it. Got Robbie Burton. I think Robbie Burton is a former Arsenal player. Is he? He might be. He might be. Anyway, I made all 3 subs. I really shouldn't have done that. Let's demand a little bit more out of the boys for the last 10 minutes. A couple of them are not really too worried about the game. A bit complacent out there. Got Pepe with the corner. Could be a penalty there. I think Aya was brought down. And yeah, we do have a penalty. Pepe to take it. Can we get a 4th goal? 4 away goals. There'd be no way. And there we go. Puts it in the back of the net. And that is our 4th away goal in this first leg. All but over for Dynamo Zagreb. They've got a young centre-back. Let's have a look at this centre-back for a second. Okay, nothing special there. Bit of interest from Spezia. Sometimes you got to look for those regens, man, even if they come during games. You just want to have a quick little look. But I'm very happy with that performance. That's a great, great first leg. Was Martinez in the game? Let's go to the match report. Was he actually playing? Oh, he was playing. And yeah, like I said, we put 4 goals past him, so my prediction was correct. Anyway, let's praise Depay here. Already at an exceptional morale level. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll skip forward the 3 days and I'll join you back for the lineup against Chelsea. Alright, so only change that we've actually made is Pepe's obviously come in for Nelson, as that's a likely change. And the other one, we brought Tierney onto the bench for Emerson. Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, but I kind of want to give Tierney a little bit of game time just to keep him up to scratch. And obviously, Emerson doesn't really matter too much if he's playing or not. He's just another body for us at fullback. Obviously, Hector Bellerin's pretty much going to play every game, so yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, tell the boys to pick up where they left off. Now, I am playing with the more defensive-minded tactic, which I have been playing against the bigger teams. So, obviously, the United game that finished 0-0, I was using the more defensive. It's kind of the away tactic, if you will. And also the Liverpool away game as well, which was also the 0-0 draw. It's very solid defensively, but it doesn't seem to have a lot going forward. Now, unfortunately, Pepe has picked up a knock here. I really don't want to risk him. Not for one game. Nelson is a pretty good understudy to have. So, like I said, I don't want to risk Pepe, one of our best players. We'll just get him off the pitch, Nelson on, and hopefully Nelson can do something out there today. Got the ball right now. Almost leaves it behind, gives it to Lacazette. Depay, there we go, 1-0. Another great start. Memphis Depay, like I said, when he's on form, there is almost no one better in the team. But he does have those little spells where he doesn't do anything for like 4 or 5 games. And then for the next maybe 10, he'll be ever present, scoring goals, making assists, whatever. It's just a little weird inconsistency with him. Anyway, Holding with a nice cross in. Hummers! There we go. Second goal. We're only 30 minutes in as well. Perfect start against Chelsea. And I mean, honestly, I thought this tactic, being the like a big away team tactic, we weren't going to score any goals, but we've already scored 2 in the first half against Chelsea. Obviously, they're not actually doing that well this season, despite signing Bailey. I think they're in about 7th, or at least they were before the start of this game. And of course, we do actually have them after the next Dynamo game. So next episode, our first game will be that EFL Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley. So that's going to be... I'm looking forward to next episode. This one, obviously, we've got the Europa League games. And then next one, we've got the Cup games. The domestic final. And of course, the FA Cup 5th round as well against Liverpool, which will be pretty interesting. They are definitely the best team in the land at the moment. Although you could argue that we're up there. We're definitely up there. Our form is some of the best in the country as well. Anyway, we've got Bellerin. Can he square it? Oh, he should have passed it. I was begging him to pass it, man. That was such an easy goal. Little bit selfish. A little bit selfish from Hector. Anyway, let's make a sub. Let's get... looking out there, Nelson is on a 6.4 match rating. Anyway, let's get our Tierney out there for Tellez. And who else is a little bit fatigued? Depay is lacking match condition at the moment. But I feel like we need to leave him out there. I think let's just make the one sub. We're only we're 2-0 up. I might actually demand a bit more out of the boys because we haven't really done anything. And it does look like Chelsea have come back in the game quite a bit. Got a free kick here. Bellerin clears it. Christensen picks it up, but Hector gets it under control. Leno out to Depay. Memphis Depay running down. Got Tierney, beats his man with ease, but does go all the way back to Aya. Louise, all the way back to Leno. We're moving the ball pretty nicely at the moment. Really keeping possession. Nelson beats his man. Can he do something? Poor effort. Really poor shot there. Anyway, Memphis with a nice... it was an average free kick, actually. And now Chelsea are breaking forward. Only 10 minutes left. Plus stoppage. Nelson wins the ball there. That's a good place to win it. Can he do anything with it? That's it. Ooh, he's won a penalty. He has won a penalty. We're definitely getting rewarded pretty well by the referees so far this episode. And like I said, we're going to try and challenge in the league, but it does kind of look like we've wrapped up the top 4. And of course, agent David Luiz scoring a penalty against Chelsea. Bit risky for me to make him take it, especially against his former club. But that is quite a good result. 3-0 victory over Chelsea. You have to say they're probably not in a very good way at the moment, Chelsea. Back down to 8th. And yeah, that's a really good win. That is a really good win. And yeah, as you can see, Pepe only going to be out for 3 days. So he'll miss the next game, which is fine. But we'll have him back for the cup final, which is great. James, man of the match rating. Cheeky little goal for himself there as well. Very happy with that. Now, of course, we've got the final game of the episode, the second leg against Zagreb. And we will be playing some of the youngsters. I think Garai, either Garai or Wilson will come up and I think start this game. I think Garai. I think he deserves the opportunity. So let's do that. And actually, looking at the league table, we're only 3 points behind Liverpool and Man United. So Liverpool must have lost. Actually, they would have drawn. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And United have actually overtaken them with the goal difference as well. Very, very interesting times. Anyway, We don't actually have another Premier League game for about 2 weeks, over 2 weeks, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, I'll join you for the lineup against Zagreb. Alright, so let's get into the lineup for this final game of the episode, our second leg against Zagreb in the Europa League. Now, as you can see, I have decided to go for a completely different starting 11. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to go back to the normal tactic. Obviously, we're the home team. And of course, we're versing someone a little bit lower in quality than ourselves. Anyway, Leno, obviously the only real starter in the squad at the moment. We've then got Emerson at right back. Going to try him out, see how he does. You know, first game for the club on debut. Brought in Chambers as our centre defender. We've got Romero as the ball-playing defender. Tierney at left back. We're going to go with Willock as our defensive deep line playmaker, defensive mid for this game. He's been playing there for the under-23s recently. So I kind of want to test him out. His defensive stats are not the best, only 10 tackling, and he only has 7 marking there. But he might be okay. He might be okay. And like I said, only Zagreb, so we'll wait and see what he does today. A lot of players are not match fit for this one, though. Guendouzi is going to be partnering Barkley. Both of them, especially Guendouzi, really lacking match fitness. We then got Kluivert coming in on the left wing, Nelson on the right wing, and then Nketiah up front. Obviously, we're going to rest a lot of our players as we do have the EFL Cup final coming up in about 3 days' time. So it's essentially a 2-day gap. And then, of course, 2 days after that, we got the Liverpool game in there as well. The bench day is going to be Iliev, Luiz, Tellez, Xhaka, Rodriguez, Pepe, and Lacazette. Kind of hoping to get Pepe off the bench as well. He's also lacking a little bit of match fitness there as well. Once again, this is going to tell the boys to pick up where they left off last time. Seems to be the best sort of motivating team talk you can give your team if they're in really good form. And of course they... Ooh, that's probably offside there by Kluivert. Is it not offside? He looked so offside to me. Either way, that's another really early goal. It's an interesting... We've got a second already, a minute later, from Joe Willock as well. So we've had both Kluivert and Joe Willock on the score sheet. Joe Willock. I mean, like I said, he looks like an interesting player. I'm not too sure where I kind of see him fitting into our midfield, though. I feel like we've got, you know, 2 really good advanced playmakers ahead of him. I don't really see him as a box-to-box midfielder. He might be our backup for our defensive mid deep line playmaker. That might be the sort of position we go for. Anyway, we got Guendouzi here, giving the ball away really badly. And now Dynamo, well, they were on a counter-attack, and that's a really good save there by Leno. I mean, we are 6 goals up on aggregate, so, you know, we're kind of sitting pretty at the moment. Anyway, we've got Barkley here. Goes back to Willock. Barkley seems to have sort of turned himself around a little bit. I was really unimpressed the first 6 months with him, but he eventually got that goal between the last episode and this episode. And I feel like he's actually not too bad. He's been getting involved a lot recently. Even if he hasn't been performing too well. It's just kind of positive to see him doing something. Anyway, Emerson, and that's a good save. Is that Martinez again? Yeah, Martinez in goal. Pulled off a really nice save there, the former Arsenal man. Karacic to Burton. But we have won the ball back there. Willock, Emerson. Beats his man. Nice play. Cuts inside, and that's a bit of an ugly shot over the bar. But he's actually having a relatively good debut. On a 7 match rating at the moment. Looking like he's being pretty solid at the back. And we're approaching half-time here. So far, so good. Martinez is having a good game. Despite already conceding 2 goals. Anyway, Kluivert, of course, looked really dangerous early on. Still think he was offside on that goal. Anyway, not going to complain about it. Was for us. And there we go, Reiss Nelson getting himself on the score sheet with Kluivert getting the assist for himself as well. And we're 3-0 up into half-time. Perfect. I mean, all 3 games on this episode really been quite good. Been a very, very positive episode. I mean, we've essentially scored 10 goals and only conceded... Well, we actually haven't conceded this episode, have we? Anyway, Pepe is going to come on for Nelson there. And I think we'll leave it like that because he's the only one that I'm really worried about, and I don't want to put any other first teamers into the team. Because like I said, we've got those 2 big games, and I essentially need to play our first 11 for both of them, especially the cup final. That goes without saying. Anyway, Emerson, and he gets himself a goal on debut. Another assist for Kluivert there, who's looking really good. I've actually just taken Kluivert off the under-23 duties. For some reason, they were playing him as a striker. I didn't really like that. Anyway, Nketiah 1-on-1, and he puts it in the back of the net. Ross Barkley with the assist. And we've got a 5-0 victory. We've outdone ourselves from that first leg. It's going to demand a bit more from the boys for the last 15. You know, I don't want us to take our foot off the gas. I want us to you know, remain positive. And without being too disrespectful to Zagreb, I want us to try and score a few more goals, even with our sort of second string youth 11. Although Pepe is out there right now, it could be really dangerous. Kluivert gets himself a 2nd goal as well. Pepe with the assist, and that's 2 assists and 2 goals for Kluivert. He's going to be on the bench, I think, for the cup final. That's a really impressive display. And now we've got Eddie Nketiah. 7-0. And that's exactly why I demanded more from the boys. This is a great performance. 7-0 at home. Now, you might have noticed that I didn't get to play Garai for this game. Obviously, he's not registered for the Europa League squad. For some reason in my head, I thought he might have been able to play for the... I thought there was an under-21 rule. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. Also, just want to comment, 5.9 for Emilio Martinez. Feel a bit sorry for him now. He was actually having a relatively good game in that first half. And we then went on to score 5 goals against him. Anyway, that's a really, really good way to wrap up the episode. A 7-0 victory, putting us into the 2nd knockout round. And of course, like I said, Emerson scoring on debut. And of course, Kluivert, man of the match. Really good stuff from him. And that is going to wrap up the episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you smash the like button. And remember to click the red subscribe button down below. And then hit the little bell notification next to it, of course. Apart from that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And I'm really looking forward to the next episode. It's going to come straight away, where we go into the Carabao Cup final. And of course, the FA Cup 5th round against Liverpool. Anyway, apart from that, guys, take it easy and goodbye.